So today we're talking about each month, it's June the 2nd of 2025, and each month we're working through a 12-month strategy of different factors and ideas and things that we want to work on to help all of us be better at living out our faith at work. And this month we're talking about relationships, the power of fellowship. And we want to live in community. That's our overall theme for the month, is to live in community. And I'm using multiple cameras here and multiple screens rather, so I have to look around a little bit because I'm running behind. But glad Yausheva and Jean could join us today. So far we have I'm really having a lot of trouble finding my mouse. But anyway, so today we want to talk about a couple of passages and about the power of fellowship, building relationships that reflect Christ. And one of the first verses for that for us is Hebrews 10:22 through 24. And I'm just going to read that passage. I don't have it up. But it says, "Let us draw near with a sincere heart in full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled clean from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water. Let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who promised is faithful. And let us consider how to stimulate one another to love and good deeds." And verse 25 says, "Not forsaking our own assembling together, as is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as we see the day drawing near." This is a famous passage that pastors have used for a lot of years to get us to go to church. But it's also an important passage in Follower of One's world, because I believe it's our job to stimulate one another to love and good deeds, just like this verse says. Let us consider how we can stimulate one another to love and good deeds. I think the active loving and good deeds part of being a Christ follower is what the world needs. They don't need us to tell them what's right and wrong. They don't need us to tell them what they're supposed to do to get to heaven. They need us to demonstrate us living out this love and good deeds. Galatians 5:14 is a verse that I'm trying to memorize. And it talks about how the whole of the gospel is summed up in one statement, in one word, in the statement, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself." God calls us to live outside of ourselves, giving ourselves away, loving other people. And our goal in Follower of One is to help encourage encourage one another. I see we have a lot of folks who joined the call too. We're here to encourage one another to live out our faith. And Galatians 5:14 tells us it can be summed up in one statement: love your neighbor as yourself. And so today, let's think for a moment about how we can love the people around us. We can pay more attention to the people at the store. I've got to run an errand after I get done with this vision cast, but I need to know the name of and ask a question or two to the person who checks me out of the store. I need to, when I go to a restaurant, I can ask a wait person if there's anything I can pray about for them. Get their name and ask if I can pray about. I got that idea actually from a book called God Space by Doug Pollock. It's a great book, and the subtitle of the book is Where Spiritual Conversations Happen Naturally. It's a great book about paying attention to the people around us. Doug used to organize groups of people. I don't know if he still does this or not. At his church, they would get together at their church, and they would go to the local shopping center or the local mall, and they would offer to clean the bathrooms of the store, of where the stores there. And they would go in and clean bathrooms for people as an act of love. I mean, almost nobody would, running a commercial establishment wants to clean their bathroom. And so these guys would go clean bathrooms. If we lived that way in our workplace, what would happen? I just put a post on LinkedIn this morning, and we talk about wanting to live our faith at work, but many people who are not practicing Christians challenge the idea of us living our faith at work because they think that means that we're going to try and pitch them Jesus. We're trying to pitch a different lifestyle to them. And my comment in the LinkedIn post was, what if we just loved other people and were blessing them in such a way that other people wanted to know why we were doing that? I think that's the challenge. Galatians 5:14 says that all of Scripture is summed up in one statement, in you shall love your neighbor as yourself. That's a paraphrase because I don't have it quite memorized yet, but but we can be actively loving our neighbors and making a difference in their lives. And so today, just as a quickie little reminder, as our action item for today, since I'm running late, I want to help people get into their workplace today and make a difference. Today, let's think about who Jesus would have. Exactly, David. Against such things, there is no law. When we do these things, when we love other people, there's no law against that. And we can live out our faith. And so we want to, I want to encourage us right now, ask God to give you an idea of someone you can serve in the next few hours, the rest of today. And let's go serve them. Let's get out of our little comfort zone and go above and beyond and serving them and not whine about it. Because that's what I do. I will whine about it. I'll whine about it under my breath. I don't want to have to serve them. But reality is that I need to go and do it enthusiastically because I'm a Christ follower. Jesus has invited me to join him. I get to experience his joy. I get to experience the eternal nature. I get to experience so many cool things. Jesus has given us everything, and we get to go do the next thing with him. And all we have to do is choose to love someone. So for the rest of today, let's try and go into our workplaces. Let's try and go into wherever it is we're going today and actively demonstrate love. I think that's one of the great ways we can build relationships. We can invest in other people. We can like other people first. I really believe that most of our friends like us because we like them, and that we like most of our friends because they like us. And so if we just started this puzzle, instead of waiting for someone else to like us first, if we just started it by going into the world and trying to like people and trying to make a difference in their lives, we call it appreciate others. That's the second of our 5 daily habits. We want to go into our world today and appreciate people, show them some love, because Galatians 5:14 says the all of Scripture is summed up in this one word, in the statement, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. We want to consider how to stimulate one another to love and good deeds. We all do things better when we do them with someone else. Another verse that Chris had suggested for today was Ecclesiastes 4:9 and 10. Two are better than one because they will have a return for their labor. I've got that up here too. Let me read the whole verse because I don't have it memorized either. Two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. For if either of them falls, the one will lift up his companion. But woe to the one who falls and there is not another to lift him up. We get to go be the other person for someone today. That's our calling. And as we do that, we're living out our faith. We're integrating our faith into our work. We get to take the parts of our faith that everyone would like to see us living like Jesus and go do that in our jobs today. And so today, let's do that. Thank you so much for being a part of this quickie live stream. I'm sorry I was late, but I'm grateful to see that we had so many folks on here. We have Bonnie and David and Yashua and Chris and myself are all on here. So thank you very much for being part of this live stream. Thank you for being part of the Follower of One community. Our goal is to help Marketplace Christians integrate their faith into what they do every day. This is our job. We have this opportunity to join Jesus by going into the world and living out the scripture, loving our neighbors as we would love ourselves. Thanks so much for being a member, a follower of One. Thank you for being part of what we're doing. Remember, we have another mission trip coming up in a few weeks. We actually are not doing a follower of One Marketplace mission trip in the month of June, but I did just invite some friends to begin one of our YouVersion reading plans. You could go into, if you use the YouVersion Bible app, which is a free Bible that you can download and get multiple translations all in the same app. Also in that app, they have content partners, of which Follower One is a content partner. You can search for us under plans. We have about 9 plans in there now, and we're trying to make some more. And if you'd even like to volunteer to help us create some plans so that we're constantly putting content into the YouVersion app to encourage believers to live out their faith every day. That's our strategy, is to use the reading plans and the Marketplace mission trips and to use our relationships with one another to help us actively live out this faith every day. Thank you for being a part of this vision, the Follower of One idea. It's just the idea that we would help one another live out our faith every day. So I'm grateful for you being a part of this. And we have a great God. Let's go into our marketplaces today and do what he would have us do. Thank you for being a marketplace minister. Remember, what we do because we follow Jesus matters forever. And we get to celebrate that for eternity. And so I'm looking forward to celebrating that with you. The next time we get together on the Zoom call here, or on a Marketplace mission trip, or even when we get together in eternity. Thanks very much.